All right, so, hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Excellent. Today we're looking at something called Captured and Released.
Oh, interesting title.
I know, right? And it's, well, an anthology,
Yeah.
but not just any anthology.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's so special about this one?
So it's all work by teenagers, like high school age.
Got it. So like teen angst and all that.
Yeah, probably some of that, but it's more than just, typical teenage stuff.
All right, lay it on me.
We're talking stories, poetry, photography, even art.
Wow, a real mix of media. That's cool.
Right. And it's not just from like one grade, it's freshmen all the way to seniors, 30 of them.
30 different voices. That's a lot of perspectives.
Exactly. Makes you wonder what they're all, well, capturing and releasing.
Yeah. With a title like that, gotta be some depth stuff in there.
I was thinking the same thing. So, I mean, what does that even mean for teenagers? Captured and released. Like, what are they holding on to? What are they letting go of?
It's a great question, and I think the anthology itself kind of answers it in a way. Because you've got all these different forms of expression, right?
Right.
So maybe capturing a moment in a photograph feels different than like releasing your emotions in a poem.
Totally. Like, one is more about preserving something exactly as it is, while the other is more about letting something out, being free from it.
Exactly. And that got me thinking. For our listeners out there, which way do you find more powerful for expressing yourself?
Ooh, good question. I've always been drawn to writing myself. Back in high school, my notebooks were filled with angsty poetry. What about you?
I was more into visual stuff,
Yeah.
sketching, drawing, anything to make sense of the world around me.
That's awesome.
hmm
Makes you wonder what these teenagers chose. What spoke to them most?
Exactly. And their choices really do shine through in their work. Like one poem I read really captures this feeling of being trapped by expectations, from parents, from society.
Oh, I bet, like feeling suffocated.
Exactly. But then you've got a photograph that's all about this, like burst of joy and self-acceptance, total opposite, but so powerful in its own way.
It's amazing how art can do that.
Yeah,
Capture these really specific, intense emotions.
totally. And speaking of specific, there's this one contributor, Kainat Azhar.
Kainat Azhar. Interesting name. I don't think I've come across her work before. What's her story?
Her work is pretty striking. She's a photographer, and her stuff in this anthology, it's all black and white portraits, really powerful stuff. They capture this like quiet strength and resilience in her subjects, many of whom are from, communities that don't always get their stories told.
Wow, that's amazing. Adding another layer to this whole idea of identity and finding your voice.
Exactly. And this whole anthology, it's like a snapshot of what it's like to be a teenager right now.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, like a time capsule.
Exactly. And it's fascinating to think, years from now, people will be able to look back at this and see what it was like to be a teenager in 2025, what their hopes and fears were, what they were struggling with, what they were celebrating.
Definitely makes you want to check it out, see what speaks to you.
Absolutely. And it also makes you wonder, what about you? If you could contribute to Captured and Released, what would you share? What story, poem, photograph, artwork, whatever captures this moment in your life?
Wow, that is a good question.
Think about it.
Yeah.
And thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone.
And hey, remember, each deep dive is your own. What you take from it, what resonates with you, that's what matters.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
See you next time.